G'day everyone, it's the Fat Man here from Jimmy and the Fat Man, as we look at previewing today's game between Collingwood and the Gold Coast. Gold Coast versus Collingwood at Metricon Stadium. I was actually meant to go today, but unfortunately this work got really busy, being at the end of financial year. I was meant to go bungee jumping yesterday, which would have been really special to show, but I'll have to leave that for another day. So Gold Coast versus Collingwood at the MCG. Now Collingwood currently sitting in 8th position. Because of St Kilda's win last night against the Blues, and Gold Coast at about 10th, 2 wins behind Collingwood, and Essendon did the Pies a favour today by beating Sydney, which means if Collingwood win today, we go outright 6th for the weekend, and I'm pretty sure then that means that we will also be a game in the 8. And considering the next 2 weeks, we've got North Melbourne and Adelaide, 2 winnable games. I'm not going to call them straight set wins, because as we know, particularly with the Essendon versus Sydney game, no game is in the bag. Look, we beat them earlier on in the year, but their forwards really gave us a bit of hassle, particularly as Jared Witts just dominated in the ruck. What's his name? Their full forward, Levi Casbock, kicked 4, maybe a child kicked 3. And we've got Jeremy Howe out of the game and then replaced him with Trey Rusco, which I'm very shocked about. Trey Rusco out, although I guess the weather up at the Gold Coast has been pretty shocking this week. So maybe that's why. I don't think the ball's going to be that much in the air, but then why would you put Cox and Cameron in? Anyway, it'll be interesting to see how it goes. I think our forward line... But look, they have King, but I think our forward line in regards to consistency is better. I think our midfield's better, although they do have Took Miller, who pretty much was almost best on ground when we played them back in round 4, round 5. And I think in regards to defences, our defence is much more experienced. Although, again, we have lost Jeremy Howe and have put in Trey Rusco. So look, Trey Rusco will generally playing defence. He's struggled to keep his spot, so... Whilst, as you all know, I try to keep the criticism of our players to a minimum, you can't pretend that he's been one of our most important players. In fact, I would have thought maybe Jack Madgen or Charlie Dean would have got his debut today, but maybe because he hasn't played much, they've just decided to give him another week. But it'll be interesting to see how, considering with Jeremy Howe playing, their forwards gave us a bit of trouble last time. But then again, our defence was really struggling, whereas the last few weeks our defence has really come into their own, except for that last quarter against GWS. But then again, even then, the 2 free kicks and the double 50-metre penalty were disgusting decisions. So look, I think I'm going to tip Collingwood. I'm going to tip Collingwood by 24 points. We had a good recent history against Gold Coast, particularly even over there. Gold Coast haven't beaten us for a little while. I'm going to tip Collingwood by 24 points. I still think it's going to be a terrific game. It looks like it's wet over there, so I think whoever handles the slippery ball, considering it's dewy in Queensland as a matter of fact anyway, so whether it's rainy or not, you're going to get a slippery ball. So I think Collingwood are going to win by 24 points. Really interested to see how Das goes this week again against Jared Witts, who gave Collingwood's ruck duo. Then it was Cameron and Aiden Begg gave him a towel in like 65 tap-outs to 10 or something like that. But Darcy Cameron has been in sparkling form these last 3 weeks. He was rewarded with a new 3-year contract. Well done, Darcy. And it's gone to the fact now where people are even questioning whether Brodie Grundy gets a game at Collingwood anymore, and maybe they should consider trading him out. That's how well he's going, considering Brodie Grundy this year has gotten back to some of his form of 2018-2019 after a couple of years. So look, I'll see you at quarter times. Gold Coast versus Collingwood at Metricon Stadium, and I think Collingwood win this by 24 points. This is the Fat Man. See you at quarter time. Alright, so we're here at quarter time between Gold Coast and Collingwood, and look, Collingwood have probably had the better of the game so far. Gold Coast come out of the blocks and kicked the opening 3 goals of the game, but Collingwood quickly arrested it back, and it's now even Stevens, 3-4-22, Richie Beno apiece. My app's being a bit slow today, but look, Gold Coast started off really well. You can tell Gold Coast have really primed themselves for this game. They really want to come out and this is an important game for them. They know that they need to win this to stay in contact with the 8. You know, it's pretty much, I reckon, all in all, probably one of the most important games of their AFL lives this game. You know, they lose this, they pretty much lose touch with the top 8, so they really need a win, particularly as the other results have gone their way, as they have gone Collingwood's way. Interestingly, speaking of going the other way, the game at GMHBA Stadium between Geelong and North Melbourne, Geelong, after kicking the first 3 goals of the game, have then conceded the next 3 to be 3-5-23 to 3-1-19, but we all know Geelong's going to win that. But the thing is, if Geelong lose that and Collingwood win, we effectively are, hang on, equal third. I thought we were equal second. Anyway, that's still a long way. We have to win this game first, so let's focus on winning this game. So it's 3-4-22 apiece, each of 2. In regards to the goal kickers for the Pies, for Gold Coast, Casbolt, Chol and Oi have singles. And for the Pies, Ginnivan has 2, Ollie Henry 1, and he missed that one right at the end, which is a bit of a disappointing miss. In regards to stats for the Pies, Nick, always there, has 8. Steele, who's had a good few weeks, on 7. Hoskin Elliott's having a game, he's on 6. And for the Suns, you've got Anderson on 8, Rowell, Holman on 7, Miller, Bowes and Swallow on 6. So that's your stats. In regards to the actual stats, Gold Coast have had 2 more possessions than the Pies. So possessions are pretty even. Free kicks, Gold Coast 5-2, including a couple of very soft ones. Gold Coast lead the contested ball 39-32. So Collingwood, in these conditions, Collingwood are going to want to reverse that. Collingwood have had more marks and have taken 6 marks inside 50. So to have 6 marks inside 50 and not be in front, would they be really disappointed with that? And lead the inside 50s 16-12. In interchanges 20-17. So Collingwood racking through those interchanges early on. So there you have it. That's the game. Collingwood kicking the last 3 behinds of the quarter. Collingwood have actually kicked 3 goals for, whereas Gold Coast have kicked 3-1, and they've been 3 rush behind. So look, Gold Coast looked like they were on early. Collingwood arrested it back. They're going to want to. Look, Collingwood are going to want to just make sure that we're not kicking inaccurately, because Gold Coast look very plucky tonight. It seems like one of those nights. But look, it's quarter time, 3-4 to 3-4, 22 apiece. I'll see you at half time. So half time at Metricon Stadium. Welcome back to Jimmy and the Fat Man. It's the Fat Man here from his home as Gold Coast take on Collingwood. It's half time, and Collingwood 6-9-45 lead the Gold Coast 5-6-36. Collingwood kicking 2-5 that quarter. Gold Coast kicking 2-2, and both those goals coming in the space of about 2 minutes. In fact, I'll tell you, because they kicked 2 of the last 3 goals of the quarter. At the 21, so it was at 21-19 and 23-37, so within 2 minutes and 18 seconds. And they come 3 minutes after Brody Mychik, Trey Rusco missed some pretty gettable shots at goal. So look, this is dangerous, because Collingwood really dominated that quarter, and Gold Coast really just put the afterburners on for about 5 minutes, kicked a couple of goals, which put them right back in the mix. They're only a couple of points behind, and 3 points behind, and then Collingwood got that late one, and then looked to assert. So to be honest, I think, like I said, Gold Coast are plucky. That they're playing the sort of game style that'll net them 3 or 4 goals quickly. So you wouldn't want to be 14 or 15 points up with a couple of minutes to go, because Gold Coast will throw everything at us, and yeah, it's got scary written all over it. Particularly the way we're playing. We look at the goal kickers for the Pies. We'll go to Gold Coast. Their goal kickers, all singles: Rankine, Anderson, Chol, Casbolt, Oya with the singles. And for the Pies, you've got Ginnivan with 3, Dacos with 2, Henry the other goal kicker. In regards to disposals for the Gold Coast, Took Miller, bit quiet of that quarter. He has 14. Anderson Swallow also 14. Butterick 12. Bowles 11. And Rao also be quiet. He had 10. And for the Pies, Nicky Dacos, 22 possessions, 12 kicks, 10 hand passes at 100% efficiency. Side bottom, another 8 possessions that quarter. He was terrific with 15. Josh Dacos 13. Hoskin Elliott and Noble with 12. Maynard Murphy on 11. Adams has played a lot of this game forward. He's only had 9. Pendlebury's only had 7. He's been a little bit quiet. Crisp has also been a little bit quiet. He's only had the 7. And look, McCreary only 1. And look, all eyes on Jordan De Goey. He's only had 4. And he had the first kick of the game. 3 kicks and 1 hand passes. And he's laid 2 tackles, which I guess you can do. In regards to the stats, Collingwood 27 more possessions, more effective. Gold Coast lead the free kicks 8-6. And they still lead the contested possessions. That the margin has shrunk 77-73. Collingwood with a lot more uncontested, 76-112. They've taken 13 marks inside 50. The Pies, that's 10 more marks inside 50. So it'll only be 9 points up. That's something they're going to want to curtail. Again, Collingwood's ruck dominance has been sensational. 22 hitouts to 17. Complete reversal of the last time they played. I guess it's a bit of confidence in them, although it hasn't translated into clearance, with Gold Coast winning the clearance 21-17, and Collingwood had 32 tackles to 25 and shots at goal 15-11, and inside 50s 26 apiece. Collingwood 16 interchanges that quarter, and the Gold Coast Suns with 16 as well, 36-34. So there you have it. Yeah, so Collingwood definitely best. Nick Dacos is definitely best on ground. But look, Collingwood are going to want to assert their dominance this quarter, because Gold Coast looking very plucky. Particularly by they kicked those last couple of goals. Levi, Casbolt and Chol have barely had an impact on the game, so you can suggest that they're going to at least kick a couple. So yeah, if we're going to win by 24 points, we're going to need to keep going with that as well. And yeah, so because look, in the end, as I suspected, we're going to have to do it on our own, because Geelong dominated the Kangas that quarter, kicking 5-3 to 1 straight to be 8-8-56 to 4-1. 25. In fact, North kicked the first goal. No, they didn't. So there you go. So yeah, Collingwood up by 9 points at half time. I'll see you at 3/4 time, and hopefully a bit more relaxed than what I am now. See ya. Well, if you want to know why Collingwood's percentage is 106 for 2022, you only have to look at today's game. Just constant even games, and that was probably the worst quarter of football we've put together for a long time. Just aimless, wasteful. It's like we didn't want to be. It was just a weird quarter. Our midfield had been horribly beaten. Just didn't look like we were interested that quarter. Really, you know, go from a side that's beaten first, second, fourth on the ladder to then dish up this. Yeah, they just don't really look on tonight. And I said, you know, Gold Coast are plucky. They'll kick a few tonight. So, and they did that quarter. In fact, the game should be over. Gold Coast should be 4 or 5 goals in front. Collingwood, they kicked 1 goal 5 to 1 point, and of course our point was from 20 metres out the in front. Gold Coast 6-11-47 lead. Collingwood 6-10-46. Yeah, look, there's not really much to talk about in regards to goals for the. The Gold Coast, Rankin has 2. Casbolt, Chol and Anderson and Oya have 1 for the Pies. Ginnivan 3, Dacos 2. That's Josh Henry with the singles. In regards to the stats for Gold Coast, you've got Anderson 25, Miller 23, and then you've got Swallow on 19, Bales and Holman on 16. And for the Pies, you've got Nick Dacos, who's best on ground with 32. Side Bottoms having a cracker on 24. Noble 21. Interestingly, you look at the Pies midfield. Lipinski's had 14. Adams has had 12. Pendlebury 10. De Goey 9. Crisp 8. It's one of Crisp's worst game for the year. So look, the Pies midfield, if they get chugging along this quarter, then hopefully things sort of change. But look, I just don't see it. They don't look cohesive. They look tired. And yeah, we're having more of the ball, mucking around with it so much. And look, Gold Coast should be a lot further in front. I'll just say that they really, yeah. So what contested was 92-99. It's now 99-92 in favour of Gold Coast. Now 115-99 in favour of Gold Coast. So they smashed us in contested ball that quarter. We've had more marks. Again, 15 marks inside 50. That's ridiculous. More hitouts, but they've had 10 more clearances. They've just completely muscled us in the inside running, and now they've had more inside 50s as well. So look, Gold Coast completely owned that quarter for 1 goal 5, unlike the first quarter where their 4 goal 6 was actually 4 goals 1 with 5 rush behinds. That was 1 goal 4 with 1 rush behind. So look, they genuinely need that. It should be in front. In fact, from yeah, I'm just looking at, so they went behind, Collingwood behind, goal to Gold Coast, behind, so they really should be a lot further in front. Yeah, that quarter, Gold Coast 98 possessions to 84, contested 38 to 26, 12 more contested possessions. That's a belting. They lay 7 tackles to 4, wasn't really in tight contest. 14 inside 50s to 8 in favour of the Gold Coast. So yeah, just complete domination. So there we'll go. See at the end of the game, Gold Coast lead by 1 point. Now let's have a look. Collingwood by a point. The week before was Collingwood by 11. The week before was the bye. Can't really do much about that. The week before that, Collingwood by 26, which was fair. Then it was Collingwood by 4. Collingwood by 4. So just lots of close games after close games. I'll see you 3/4 time. Collingwood are down by 1 point at Metricon. Well, it's all smiles here in the Jimmy and Fatman house. Sort of. Collingwood getting a run on late after it just looked all hopeless, you might want to say. Look, we didn't even look like scoring, and to come away with the victory was sensational. So really happy with that. And Collingwood now sitting outright 6th, a game ahead of Sydney and St Kilda and Richmond. Even if Richmond win tomorrow, we're still a game inside the 8. Or when I say even if Richmond are winning tomorrow against West Coast. In that, so yeah, so that last quarter, Collingwood kicking 3-3 to Gold Coast kicking 2-3, and Collingwood kicking the last 3 goals of the game before the Gold Coast kicked a point. Just amazing. Don't kick a goal for 55 minutes, and then kick 3 goals in 4 minutes and 27 seconds, and then don't score another goal for 11 minutes. No goal was scored in the last 11 minutes of that last quarter. For Collingwood to win 9-13, 67 to 8-14, 62 by 5 points. Another Collingwood victory by under a goal. We're the under a goal kings at the moment. But look, we're winning, and that's all that matters. We have a look at the goal kickers for Gold Coast. Isaac Rankin had he had 18 possessions and kicked 4 goals, but 2 were off the ground, and 1 was well done, Isaac, for 4 goals. Casbolt, Chol, Anderson, and Oy with the singles. And for the Pies, Josh Dacos kicked 3, Ginnivan 3, singles to Henry, Mychek, and Will Hoskin Elliott. In regards to possessions for the Suns, Miller 31, Anderson 30, and look, the rest were pretty well down. Swallow 24 and Rowell 23. And for the Pies, look, Josh Dacos sensational. Nick Dacos sensational 37. Side bottom, he's having a good patchy form 27. Noble 23. Adams was sensational that last quarter. He finished with 20, as well as Lipinski. Josh Dacos 3 goals and 19 possessions. Even Jack Crisp 11 possessions in their last quarter with 18. Pendlebury as well. He had a terrific last quarter. So yeah, look, just a terrific last 15 minutes for the Pies. Just would have been good if we had kicked straighter in the first half, because we probably should have lost that, considering that third quarter Gold Coast kicked 1-5 and they were all pretty easy shots at goal. In the end, Collingwood having 26 more possessions, and yeah, look, Gold Coast winning the contested possession stats quite handsomely. So Collingwood have to go to the drawing board on that. Collingwood 17 marks inside 50, the Gold Coast's 13. That third quarter, Gold Coast took about 8 or 9 marks inside 50. They won the hit-outs, but got smacked in the clearances 41 to 30, and had 8 less inside 50s for the game as well. So that was they wouldn't have been happy with that. And look, in the end, both teams finished well short of their interchange, 66 to 62. Generally what happens when games get really close. No one wants to come off, everyone wants to do their bit. And we look at the last quarter. Collingwood won the possession count in the last quarter, 86 to 73. They lost the contested possession count by 3. Gold Coast had 5 more tackles. Collingwood 1 more interchange. Gold Coast. So in the second half, Gold Coast 28 inside 50s to 20. So they did really, really well to do what they did. We go to the votes. Now look, this is where you got to be really careful with how you give votes, because you can look at the possessions and do it one way. But look, I'm going to give my 3 votes to Josh Dacos. He had the biggest impact on the ground tonight. 3 goals, 20 possessions. And look, he kicked the goal that gave us the run in the last quarter. Give 2 votes to his brother, Whisper Nicky Dacos, who goes into 2 votes, 37 possessions. Great efficiency. Probably didn't get much of the ball in the last quarter, but he kept us in at that first 3 quarters. And then look, for the one vote, we can go to a multitude of players, because a lot of players played really had a really good hand in the last quarter. Like I said, like Adams had a terrific last quarter. Lipinski 13 in the last quarter. Crisp 11 in the last quarter. Pendlebury 9 in the last quarter. Will Hoskin Elliott had a good game. Murphy was solid in defence. Moore was great on, Casbolt pretty much kept him out of the game. DeGoey wasn't at his best. He looked really out of sorts tonight. And Ginnivan 3 goals. He was a difference in the first half. But I'm going to give it to my man Steele Sidebottom. He was really influential. He's coming together with a real rich vein of form. 27 possessions. And yeah, especially in that last quarter, he was sensational. So well done, Steele. So 3 to Josh Dacos, 2 to Whisper, and 1 to Steele Sidebottom. And that sees the end of Jimmy and the Fat Man. This has been my first Jimmy and the Fat Man all week. Just work has been crazy. And first week of school holidays, thought we'd give the boys a break, but we'll be back better next week, pretty much every single day, which should be good. Let's go to the AFL Live Ladder. On first of the ladder on 12 wins, Melbourne. On 11 wins, you've got Geelong, then Brisbane. On 10 wins, you have Fremantle, Carlton, and Collingwood, although Fremantle still have a game in hand. They've got Port Adelaide tomorrow at Optus Stadium, so where can they go to? Fremantle win tomorrow. Look, they won't jump Geelong, but they could jump Brisbane into 3rd. But yeah, Collingwood sitting 6th on 10 wins and 5 losses. Well done, Pies. 6 wins in a row. On 9 wins and topping on in 7th and 8th position in the 8, you've got Sydney and St Kilda. On 8 wins, you've got Richmond and the Western Bulldogs. On 7 wins in 11th place and 12th, you've got Gold Coast and Port Adelaide. Adelaide are on 5 wins in 13th. GWS, Hawthorn and Essendon are on 4 wins. West Coast, with a game to play, are on 2 wins on 8 points. And North Melbourne, dead last, 1 and 14 on 4. They're on 4 points, and geez, they got hammered tonight. Geelong 21-18, 144 to 5-2-32, and really feel sorry for North Melbourne, just getting absolutely hammered every single week. You really hope that they go there. Anyway, that's what we play next week. It's Collingwood versus North Melbourne at the MCG, 1:45 on Saturday, and Fat Man will be on location to bring you that game. Hopefully a percentage booster for the Pies, but everyone loves, as you saw with Gold Coast tonight and GWS last week, everyone loves to get themselves up for Pies games. So anyway, that's all we have for tonight. Thank you so much for watching Jimmy and the Fat Man. It's Collingwood running out 5-point winners in a classic against the Gold Coast Suns. Yeah, from my family to yours, peace. Come on.